Hello, I am writing to you with a problem that I have, and I hope to get information about specialists or advice on how to deal with a condition. I have been in a relationship for about 5 years, and I can say that I get along well with my partner. We have our moments, but overall, our relationship is nice and healthy, until my thoughts interfere. He currently works as a freelancer from home and is about to find a job that will be permanent, which is completely okay from that point of view, but I can't control myself and my thoughts in connection with the fact that when finding a new job and entering an office, he will have contact with many new women, and I'm worried that he will fall for someone else. I realize the problem that I have and I want to fight it, as I have been trying on my own so far, but it is extremely difficult, so I think I will need some outside help to be able to change my thinking. I want to add that he knows about these thoughts of mine, including the low self-esteem I have and how judgmental I am about my physical body and what I am capable of and what I am not, and he has repeatedly told and shown me that he loves me and that he would not betray me, but this in my head just won't stop. Thanks to everyone who will respond. First off, I just want to say it takes an incredible amount of courage to write something so honest and to see what's happening inside yourself so clearly. So let's take this very personal, very real story and use it to really unpack this powerful and often painful thing we call relationship anxiety. And if listening to that made something inside you just ache with recognition, please hear this. You are so not alone. This is an incredibly common experience. What you're feeling isn't some kind of weakness or a fatal flaw in your relationship. It's actually just a signal that a part of you, deep down, is really hurting and scared. Now, it's so easy to just slap the label jealousy on these feelings and kind of leave it at that, but that's really just the surface. What we're truly looking at here is anxiety, and it's being fueled by low self-esteem. See, the new job isn't the actual problem, it's just the trigger for a fear that was already there. The engine that drives this anxiety actually has a name. It's called catastrophic thinking. It's this mental habit where our brain takes a totally neutral event, like a partner starting a new job, and immediately leaps to the absolute worst-case scenario. In this case, abandonment. It's actually a protective mechanism, but it's just gone into total overdrive. And this chain of events happens in a split second. It's completely automatic. It's not a conscious, logical process. It's more like a lightning-fast reflex. So for an anxious mind, a new job doesn't just mean a new job. It kicks off this whole terrifying sequence that always ends in the same imagined place, the end of the relationship. And this brings us to a really crucial point. The intense focus on external threats, the new women in this case, is actually a misdirection. It's the mind's clever way of pointing outward so it doesn't have to look inward at a much deeper, much more painful fear, the fear of not being enough. So, this leads us to one of the most frustrating parts of this whole experience. We heard it in the post, right? The partner is loving, the partner is reassuring, but the thoughts just won't stop. So why is that? Why doesn't it help? Well, it's because there's this fundamental disconnect. We're dealing with two different systems running at the same time. You've got your logical brain, which operates on facts. It hears, I love you, it sees the commitment, and it gets it. But then you have your emotional brain, and it operates on deep-seated beliefs. So if a core belief is, I am unworthy of love, it's going to treat all that reassurance like junk mail and just keep scanning the horizon for anything that confirms its old, familiar fear. And this is why a partner's words, even though they are so kind and so necessary, can feel like pouring water into a bucket with a giant hole in it. The leak isn't external, it's internal. The healing has to happen right there, at the source of that belief. Okay, so we've spent some time exploring the why behind this anxiety. Now, let's switch gears and build a practical toolkit. Because let's be honest, it's one thing to understand what's happening, but it's a completely different thing to know what to actually do in that moment when the anxiety hits. All right, so what can you do when your mind starts spinning out of control? There are some really concrete strategies you can start using like right now to interrupt that automatic chain reaction we were talking about. Okay, tool number 1 is all about becoming a detective of your own thoughts. So the next time an anxious thought comes up, just pause. Grab your phone or a piece of paper and draw 2 columns. In one, write the objective, verifiable fact. In the other, write the fear, the whole story your mind is telling you. This simple act creates a little bit of space between you and the thought, and in that space, the thought starts to lose its power. Tool number 2 is a really big shift in focus. Stop trying to fix the jealousy. Think of the jealousy as just the fire alarm. The real work isn't trying to silence the alarm, it's about addressing what's causing the alarm to go off in the first place, and that's the low self-esteem. So the real work is about turning your attention to these roots. How can you start to speak a little more kindly to yourself about your body? How can you notice when you're comparing yourself to others and just gently redirect your focus? This right here, this is where the true healing really begins. And for a third tool, here's a powerful mantra. When you feel yourself getting pulled into one of those catastrophic thought spirals, just repeat this phrase to yourself. This is anxiety, not reality. It acts like a circuit breaker, reminding you that a feeling, no matter how intense it is not a fact. Now, these tools are fantastic for managing those crisis moments. But the long-term goal, the real win, is to build a foundation of inner stability so that external things like a partner's new job just don't feel so threatening anymore. And as the person who wrote the original post wisely recognized, sometimes we need some outside help to do that. And there is zero shame in that. In fact, it's a sign of incredible strength. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, for example, are specifically designed to help us identify the roots of these beliefs and build new, healthier pathways in our minds. Now, for the final and maybe the most profound part of this whole process, I want you to really sit with this question. Imagine your worst fear came true and your partner left. What is the fear that's underneath that fear? Is it really about being alone, or is it that their leaving would feel like the ultimate, final proof of that deep, dark belief that you are, fundamentally, not enough? The answer to this question points you directly to the core wound that needs healing. Because ultimately, a secure, lasting love isn't built by trying to control your partner or your circumstances. It's not about preventing them from ever meeting anyone new. It's built on your own inner stability, on your own sense of worthiness that exists completely independently of them. And finally, let's just ground ourselves in reality one more time. Anxiety lives in the future, in all the what-ifs. But the fact is, for 5 years, through every single one of those days, this person has actively chosen you. Let that fact be an anchor for you as you begin this incredibly important work of choosing yourself.